Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Suleiman Rahim here. Let's slay some demons. This is a follow-up on the presentation about enemies. Now, in the previous presentation, I informed you who your enemies are. In this presentation, I'm attempting to inform you on why they're your enemies. Preparing you for war. We're already at war. We've been at war for 50,000 years. Just came through one of the worst phases of it, 400 years of total, abject, vicious, merciless attack by one of our major enemies, the onslaught of Dr. Yaqub. No one could have survived that other than us. All the other nations that were submitted to their wrath crumbled. But we stood tall. Don't let anybody put you down. We stood tall and we endured it. 400 years. They didn't turn us to dust. They put so much pressure on us, it's turning them to dust. They couldn't turn us to dust. That was their aim. Instead, we're being transformed into a diamond. No one has endured such pain, such suffering. They're lacking that in the Bible of Christ on the cross. That's us. That's us. Who was crucified. See, there's a bad translation. It wasn't for the sins of the world. It's because of the sins of the world. Because of the sins of the world. So they kind of switch things around a little bit to try to prove that, make their point. Because of the sins of the world. Because the world is sinful. What it means sinful? Because they're against our reality. They're against the true reality. They're against the mathematical reality. See, that's what sin is. When you go against the divine nature, which is mathematics, how everything is created. That's sin. That's what sin is. We do that's not in sync with the universal laws, which is mathematics. That's what sin is. And we was crucified because of sins of the world, because they're against, the whole world is against our reality. It started 35,000 years ago with Dr. Buddha, with this mystical reality of the mathematical standard. These religions have nothing to do with rationality, logic, math, just belief. So we're going to talk about that. The main purpose is to go in and explain to you not only who your enemies are, we talked about that, but why they're your enemies. I've already pretty much said it, right? Because they're against the creation, but they're against themselves. So that's the irony of it. Even if they was able to destroy us, they would destroy themselves in the process, because we are what maintains the creation. We maintain it. We are the creation. We maintain it. Everything you see, the whole creation out there, we didn't create the universe. We gave it form. And we're the only one who can maintain it. You see that they're corrupting the earth. They had 500 years. After 500 years, they almost got tore, like the Quran said, tore to pieces. So the earth must lift its burden. Why is it burden? They're a burden to the earth because they corrupted how the earth, The nature of how the earth was prepared by us. We made the earth. We didn't create it. We made it. Earth is our womb. But they're against it. So it's a burden to the earth. Somebody's against you, they're a burden to you because you got to deal with it. You understand, brothers and sisters? It's very simple. That's what sin is. We cannot be sinful. It's impossible for us to be sinful. Because we submit. That's why we live forever, because we submit to the nature of things, the climate, the seasons. So we're in the season of Yakub, so we submit it. That's what it says. We submit. We're the angels that submitted. Now we're the lesser gods. Now we elevated, right, to the primary gods. That's what it says. Make man our likeness, not image. It's talking about us. See? So we just steps away. It's impossible for us to sin. So, oh man, I'm out there smoking reefer and dope and everything. You're not sinful because you're under the authority of sinful people, and we was told to submit to them. So how in the hell can you be told that you're sinful if you're in submission, if you was told to be in submission to someone that is evil? So you doing what they told you to do, what they taught you to do. So how can you be sinful? It says that in the angel. It says, blessed are those who keep their garments. Maybe we should talk about that a little bit. Maybe I will in the next presentation. See? Because if you recall the construct where you have the eagle and its four wings and it's covered all the nations, right? They're all covered. Remember, said the elders were covered by they was covered by white robes. That means Caucasian was covering them. All the nation was covered by them, but all the nations broke free. We're the only ones still locked in. All the nations broke free of their control. But we're the only ones still, so we still have our garment, we're still covered by them. It's beautiful, brothers and sisters. When Pharaoh comes, you're sinful and everything, he's a liar. He's the sinful one. That's why I call him, he's a man of sin, son of perdition. You're not sinful. You know who's sinful? The ones who didn't submit. Our brothers and sisters that didn't submit. Our Haitian brothers and sisters in Jamaica, they don't have any right to the covenant. They didn't submit to the 400 years that we did. We submitted, and so now that's why you don't get a reward for doing wrong. It's not from God, you don't, not from our God. Maybe from Satan you do. He's not rewarding us for being sinful. We submitted. We submitted. So that means we're justified. And take it from me, because I'm the one, the judge. I'm the judge. And I declare you sinless. So you can accept that or reject it. It doesn't matter. How am I not the judge? If I have the book of life that you have to be in, how am I not? Because I decide who goes in that book or not. Isn't that judgment? I declare you sinless. That's what it said. It said he would declare you, Suleiman, son of man, would declare you sinless. He came to deliver you. Master Farad Muhammad declared you sinless. Elijah Muhammad declared you sinless. Lion Farrakhan declares you sinful. You sinless. You beloved. You're the apple of Master Farad Muhammad's eyes. I gave a previous presentation about Daniel. It's all there. In the fiery furnace, what did that false Nebuchadnezzar say? Who is that fourth person? That had to be Daniel. Suleiman. Who's that fourth? He said, he looks like the Son of God. Son of God? See, that makes sense when you know who God is. Because God is Master Muhammad. But who is he? He's David. Who's David's son? Suleiman, son of man. So it's there, brothers and sisters. It's so beautiful. But I'm getting you prepared for war. Because we've been at war for 50,000 years. And we just came through a battle, a 400-year battle. 400-year battle. The worst battle in ever. We came through a 400-year battle. And we survived it. See, that was all about survival. Elijah Muhammad was all about survival. That's why he said, who would survive the war of Armageddon? See? But I'm not about survival. I'm here to win. Joshua's here to win. Moses was here to get you to survive Pharaoh. I'm here to kick Pharaoh's ass. And we're going to win. We're winning. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Let me back up for a second here. I'll say a couple things about, we're going to talk a little more about this later on. The belief matrix. If you can't prove your reality, you can't prove it, then you don't know if it exists or not. It exists in your mind. So you in a belief matrix. You believe, but you have no idea what's true or not. And you resting your whole fate and everything, your whole life, everything based on that, because in religion, that's what you're doing. In Christianity, you have no idea if any of that stuff is true. You have no idea. Oh, because your mama told you. Who told your mama? Your grandmama told her. Who told her? The grandfather told her. Who told her? The preacher told her. Who told him? Massa. That was part of the war. To get you to believe this mess. That's how it started. That was the first mental attack. Dr. Buddha, to get you as a mathematical standard, to get you into religion, stuff that could not be proven, to separate the creator from the creation. Will your religion allow you to create anything, make anything, produce anything? Nothing. Can you build a nation or civilization out of it? Nothing. Is this civilization built off of Christianity? No. It's an ideology, but it's built off mathematics. That should tell you everything you need to know. You're in a belief matrix. And if that's what you want to stay in a belief, some people, that movie, right? Some people want to get back to the belief matrix. That's you want to find. See? But that's the war. Because they want to catch you in that belief matrix. When they make their final onslaught, they want to catch you in that belief matrix, naked, dumb, stupid. That's where they want to catch you. We've been set up to be in that belief matrix so they can just move in and swoop down, and like a buzzard, swoop down on a dying carcass, just eat it while it's still alive, still breathing, but still start eating on it. No, it can't do anything. See? They're buzzards, they're like dead, they eat dead. They eat the dying too. If they see you laying there and you can't move, no, you're going to be buzzard, boo-boo. They'll turn you into buzzard, boo-boo. Trying to be nice, brothers and sisters. See, so you're still alive, but you can't move. You're too weak to move. They catch you in that belief matrix, brothers and sisters, you're toast. That's what this whole thing is all about. It's all about you. Move on. Again, you need to get out of that belief matrix because this is the 5 fundamental principles of Islam, mathematical principles. It starts with consequence. Ain't no belief there. That's mathematics. No belief there. What happened here? Oh, let me hold on. Let me stop this. Go on, brothers and sisters. No idea what's going on here. How did that happen? First, first pillar is faith. Faith to do what? See, they think it's like faith, like, belief in something. That's they got it all wrong. Sunnis got it all wrong. We're gonna talk about that. Consequence. You believe in God, do what? Justice. You be rewarded for what you do. It's a consequence. That's all about. And when you fundamentally, even the Sunnis, if you take and fundamentally understand, they understand what they claim they believe in is all about consequence. It's all about consequence. See, you reap what you sow. Every act has opposite equal reaction. Karma. Start there. See. So these are five. I'm not going to go over them. It's all mathematics. That's your defense. That's your defense. This war. If you get caught in the belief matrix, you don't have this defense because you start off. You don't have consequences. Not part of it because you don't have to have any consequence especially in Christianity. Because no matter what you do, all you got to do is believe in Jesus, and that's it. No consequence. And that's a belief itself. It's all about belief. The fundamentally is still about belief. Because if you believe in Jesus, you don't know if it's true or not, but if you believe in him, then there's no consequence for whatever you do. See? That's what they want you. Catch you napping. That's why it says that day will come as a snare. A snare. Snare is something that catches the unwary. Those not paying attention, walking around not paying attention. Then they know they're caught up in a snare. And it's too late. Now, people are lost because of lack of knowledge. That's what they want you in the belief matrix. You walk around that cross around your neck, right? What that represents death. So you just carrying your tombstone around your neck because you can't prove that. So don't come in my face with it. You can't prove any of that stuff. So I'm not interested because your whole argument we based on my emotions. You got to play to my emotion because you can't play to my reason. So you tell me don't use my brain, just like me. They send a pretty girl over there, so you like the pretty girl, and then you got these demon sisters out here, right? Demon females, right? They come in and drag you into a church. You can't get none unless you go. You gotta be able to listen to that preacher. That's what it boils down to. It happened when Elijah Muhammad was around. They would come into the temple. They weren't MGT. They ain't kidding about Elijah Muhammad or Islam. But they knew the bros in there was taking care of business. And they knew their little Christian bros wasn't doing any damn thing out there smoking pot and running around their pants hanging down and everything else. They wasn't doing anything, producing anything. Jailbirds or whatever. But the people in the Nation of Islam they was taking care of business because Elijah Muhammad made sure they took care of business. And so they wasn't stupid. They said, hey, man, I'm going to go get one of them because it happened to me. It happened to me. See? I was married to someone who claimed they was Muslim, and so had some babies. All of a sudden, the truth came out. See? And I had none but trouble after that. And using the children against you. I've seen it happen over and over again. Brothers getting all kinds of, they would come in and as soon as they had a baby, okay, well, you got to come in the church. I'm going to take your baby from you. And demons made that possible because now the women just take your child. That's wrong. I know some sisters going to get upset about this one. Their child, that's why I said, why do you think they tell the female to take the man's name? Because the seed is from the male. The child belongs to the male. You produced it. It's like putting the seed into the ground. The ground don't belong to that. The seed don't belong to the ground. But I'm telling you the truth. A woman has no right to take a man's child. Because those children are him. She gave him, she fertilized the seed, of course. She gave him a living material. But the seed is the father. So she doesn't have right to take them children from you. But see, that's why they do that because it says they appeal to the female. The devil appealed to the female because he can tell her stuff that's wrong, but she'll go along with it because it empowered her to give her power that she shouldn't have. But it tripped her up. Now, logical, intelligent women will understand that. Other women won't understand it, and they get mad. They curse me out. That's up to them. But you go in hereafter, it's going to be mathematics, not going to be emotions. It's going to be biology, science. But we won't have that problem hereafter. See, the problem is they create a problem that's really not a problem. So they say, oh, well, you mean a man's going to take his child from him? We won't have that problem hereafter. It's like you're saying, oh, man, you're going to be buying, you mean they're going to be selling them, you going to be eating them bad children? There ain't going to be no children to sell. So we don't have to make no laws about pork because there won't be any pork there. We have to prepare rules say you can't eat pork. It won't be such a law because there won't be any pork to eat. There won't be no law saying you can't take drugs because there won't be any drugs to take. You understand what I'm saying? So there won't be any problem about whose child it is because you're going to have that problem. We won't have divorce. We won't have animosity. We won't have all the kind of stuff we have here. So it really wasn't necessary for me to say that, but I'm saying it because I'm trying to show you a point. See? What's right and what's wrong. So if you don't want to know what's right, what's wrong, then buy. Because if I start telling you what's wrong, then what kind of judge would I be? Anyway, this is what's going on, brothers and sisters. So protect yourself. Now that is your protection. Your weapon is the angel. It's your weapon. Putting out them atom bombs. See? So understand that. You got a lot of crazy stuff going in this world that will not happen in hereafter. There won't be any laws in the hereafter. There won't be any laws in hereafter. Why you need laws? Remember, the Bible said they're under the law because you have to have law for them to tell them what's right and wrong. Do you have to tell an elephant what's right and wrong? Do you have to tell a tiger what's right and wrong? But if you take that tiger and put him in a cage and you're going to train him, then you have to tell him what's right and wrong because what's right and wrong is against his nature. What you want him to do is against his nature. So you have to tell him what's right and wrong. But if he found why, he knows what's right and wrong. That's why law is given to them. Because they was against the nature of things. There will be no law in hereafter. Like I said, the law will be written upon your heart. I mean, it's already your nature. That's what it said. I will write my laws upon your heart. Isn't that what God told Moses? Be upon your heart. Because all that means your nature. You're righteous people, male and female. So what has this problem hereafter? So all those you got upset because I said that the child belongs to the father, that's true. Because his seed is him. But that's a situation we wouldn't have to worry about in a few more days. We won't have that situation. We won't have divorce. People divorce and taking children this way and that way, all kind of nonsense. That happened here. See, so we don't have to worry about that there. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's move on. Here's the list of enemies. We're going to go over one by one. Gog, Magog. Moves around a little bit because I don't think you can see them all. Make sure I make that mistake again. Hope you can see that. List of enemies. But I put myself next to Shia. They're not enemies. They're not enemies. See? They may not know it yet, but they're not enemies. They're frauds. Shia, his angels. But the rest, those listed by enemies. And I think there's one missing there. There's one missing there. Right? That's Hades, Hindus. So then we'll get to that. So there's one missing. Well, not really. Not really. Because see, House of Saad, they really Hindus. Angel tells us they really Hindus masquerading as Arabs. Because the Prophet Muhammad came, he had to deal with the Hindus. Hinduism had taken over Arabia. It had moved all the way into Africa. It was even over here in America under the so-called Native Americans. They took to the extreme. They were so bad that even the Hindus, the Buddhists, didn't want to be bothered with them. But it permeated the whole country. Dr. Buddha had did 35,000 years ago. He started what happened 35,000 years ago. What Dr. Yakub did in a physical way 6,000 years later. See, they took over the planet with Buddhism. Some people call it Hinduism with this extraction from that because Hindus was named a tribe. It was all Buddhism. That's where it started from. All these religions come from there. So it covered the whole planet. Mentally. That was the first war against Islam. But it wasn't our first attack. The first attack was by Ishmael. See? Okay. So let's say this quickly. This is the ultimate vision here. Ultimate vision. At least from Dr. Yakub's point of view. That's not the ultimate vision for everyone. That's because that's where it is at this point in time. Because we're battling it's a battle between Dr. Shabazz and Dr. Yakub here in America. It was designed for us to be here battling out. We've been battling for the last 400 years. They try to put us out. A lot of TKOs. See, but it wasn't there to finish us. See? Because, as I said, they're sinful by nature. They're evil by nature because they're against the creation. So they have to establish themselves a new creation. See, a mechanical that's impervious to the biological world. Because we have a biological world. But they're against it by nature. You see that destructive things they're doing, all the diseases and all that. Tell you in here, there will be no diseases. None of that stuff, no old age. You're not old, but you're not suffering from old age as you call it. You're suffering, it's when like a plant withers. See? Because it's not getting enough nourishment, enough sunlight. But as soon as you get enough sunlight, it comes stream back to strength. It just looks like it's dying. But as soon as you get water, it looks right back, youthful and everything, like nothing ever happened. That's what we're suffering from, brothers and sisters. Because in the hereafter, once we get fully energized, we'll return to our youth, as the Quran tells you, and you live in a youthful state, basically 16 years old for the rest of your life. You look beautiful, healthy, and strong for entirely, as long as you want to live. In a state of about 16 years old, you feel, that I'm not talking about just look that way, you feel that way your body will be in a state of a 16-year-old. See? But it's wilting. See, you know the plant wilts, when it wilts, why does it wilt? Not get enough water, not get enough sunlight, not get enough nutrition. Once you give it that, it springs back just like nothing ever happened. That's what's going to happen, about to happen to you, brothers and sisters. See? But They can't live in that biological world. And we don't want to live in that we live in that mechanical world now and see what it's doing for us. Diabetes, um, stress, hypertension, whatever. And they're destroying our biological world. Brothers and sisters, they're destroying your biological world. They do that, they destroy you. I tell you, they come at you from every elevated place. And you're playing basketball kind of stuff. They're destroying your environment. They're destroying you. They're destroying you. That's another way to come at you. All these viruses and germs, all that kind of stuff. So when they get their mechanical body, they're being impervious to germs and disease. All they got to do is protect the brain. The brain doesn't die like the body does. It's the body that brings the brain down. Brain can live, they say, virtually forever. So it's place the body. So you protect the brain from all that, and they could walk around. It could be storms. It could be wet, whatever. They won't even it won't even bother them. But it's gonna bother you. And when they come with that body is so expensive. You're not gonna pay. It could be what $10 million for a body like that. How much does a Lamborghini cost? You think a body like that would cost more than a Lamborghini? Can you afford one? That means they evolved to the next level. They evolved to the next level. See, so brothers and sisters, just so much. That's what teaches evolution. So they justify. They said, well, they evolved to the next level, which that's their next level. That's cyborg. That's the next level. But we couldn't evolve. So we deserve to be the same way as apes. They couldn't evolve, so they're in cages. So now the biological people in cages, people look, oh man, you mean we used to be like that? Man, we came from apes now, and we was like that. They walk around their cyborg bodies, and we set them in cages. See? And they're not even talking because they communicate, right? They're in the cyborg bodies, right? They don't have to talk anymore. I mean, they put iPhones installed into their brain, so now they can emulate telepathy. See, we can do it naturally. We can't do it right now because we're just too weak to do it. Just think about, and let me move on. Just think about this. Say, for instance, you haven't eaten in a month too much. You're starving, you're about to die. Your body's so weak. You're so weak, can't open your eyes. We have the ability to see, right? But you can't because you can't open your eyes. Same thing is happening to us because we can't communicate with each other telepathy because we're so weak, we don't have enough strength, right, for our minds to pick up on other people's thoughts. I mean, I could tell you how it works. Well, I know how it works. Freud told us how it worked, but you didn't understand it. That's why he was able to do it. But you can't put the work in that will make it do it work. Maybe I'll give you a few hints here. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Okay. Your heart, when you make those slots, see, Freud, why do he make slots for reciting the Quran 6 to 8 hours a night? Because it makes your heart so firm. It makes your heart so firm. See, remember, your heart and your voice connected, but it's also connected to your mind, right? See? So we can pick up on the vibrations of everyone's heart. The point is that, oh, say you're in maybe I shouldn't probably go into this. Say, for instance, you're in a room and everybody's talking, then you can't make out anything because everybody's talking. You can't concentrate. Everybody's talking. So you say, well, be quiet. You're going to, same thing, because you're picking up on everybody's thoughts. You are. You don't realize it. Sometimes you might be walking down all of a sudden, and all of a sudden you got these thoughts in your mind. So where that come from? You walk by a gay bar, and all of a sudden you get these, where that come from? And you didn't realize you walked past a gay because that's what they're thinking up in there. Because because the thought that you know is not, that you don't recognize because it's not yours. So how do you filter that out? You have to be able to concentrate on the person that you talk to and filter everybody else's out. And that's what you do it. When you make you make your heart, then you tune it out. Because right now your heart is responding to all, because you're picking up all this stuff right now. You're picking it all up right now. Like you're in a room that's crowded with all kinds of people, and you hear everybody's thoughts, but you can't make it out because it's confusing. And you might even think of some of your thoughts. I'm just giving you a taste on this, brothers and sisters. See? But if you could make 7, 8 hours a slot a night, if you could do it, I can't do it. I tried 3 and almost killed me. If you could do that, your heart would be firm enough where you can filter out all other thoughts, and then you know where a thought is coming from. Because you realize that a lot of thoughts you have, a lot of it ain't yours. It's yours filtered in with somebody else's. Right? It's like mixing juices. So you mix it and you can't tell which one is orange juice, which one is pineapple juice because it's mixed in together. So your thoughts is a composite of everybody's thoughts around you. So that's why you do a lot of things that you think you shouldn't be doing, act a lot of ways you shouldn't be doing, and especially if you're an emotional type person, you get all emotional for no reason. At times you can't understand why you got emotional about something because it's some people around you, other people around you, are emotional, and it's affecting you, and you don't realize it. But see, right now you'd have to make 6, 8 hours reciting the Quran every day. Can you do that? If you do it, then you find yourself being able to tune in. I can't do it. But in hereafter, you'll be so strong, you won't need the 7, 8 hours. See, right now, that's what it takes. For us, Farah took 6, 8 hours. Probably take us maybe more about 10 hours. See, because the nature of his nature of his being. See, probably take us some more. But here, you be so strong, right? You won't have to. Eventually, you won't have to at all. And here, maybe an hour a night. See? Eventually, you won't have to at all because you'll be so strong. See. So I thought I'd just press out there, bro. Take for his worth. Okay, that's their vision, and like I said, they'll be able to. iPhone playing history. That means they can talk to each other. You don't see anything, just they think it. They work on that kind of stuff. They work on that kind of stuff now. They're trying to map out the brain. They work on that kind of stuff now. So here you are. They looking at you. They talking to each other. You can't see anything. Not mouth moving or nothing. And you, hey man, what's going on? You like that? You'd be like that gorilla in there. To them. You understand? See? And they'll throw a ball in there. And they have you in there with a basketball. And of course, look at that monkey, man. He can throw that ball just like do the ape. Don't you understand, brothers and sisters? You just apes to them. And they're going to prove it to you if they get a chance. But Friday going to never let that happen. I sure ain't going to let it happen. Not where I can do anything about it. But they have you up in that cage. They got you in there already now. People sitting around watching you play a ball. They give you money. Hey, give me money. Well, hey, if when you in a cage, and they get that monkey, he play games, don't they throw him food? He finds out, hey, the more antics he does, the more food they throw him. So he clown, he ape all day long, keep throwing him more food. Says, hey man, I'm getting paid, yeah. To do what? To be an ape. And they sit around watching you. And what's gonna happen when they really put you in that cage, you down, and they sitting around there walking around, right there, with their $10 million cyborg suit, and you sit in that cage, you understand? You still gonna think that's cool in? Some of you still might. Okay, brothers and sisters, move on. Now the demons. What's over here? Now, why are they our enemy? Well, you have to read the story of Nicodemus for that one. Nicodemus. That's why it's called Nicodemus, demon in there. Because they met Jesus and Jesus told, ain't nothing you can do to get into heaven. He said, wait a minute, hold on. I'm living a good life, I'm living a righteous life. He said, I don't care. But Jesus told him, man, you can't get in. You're a demon, you can't get in. You gotta be born again. See, Christians tell you, well, that means that you gotta accept Jesus. That's me born again. See, you can read that sealed Bible, you get all discombobulated. No, he had to be born again. He was born original because he wasn't born original. That's why I said be born again. He said, well, I got to go back in the mother's womb again? Yeah, exactly. We can't get back in the mother's womb. But you have to be born again. Be born original because a demon cannot make it into the hereafter. We don't want him. I don't care how righteous he is. See, your righteousness will not work for you. I don't care how right you think you are, will not make it. And that's how you understand why demons are our enemy. Because they realize they can't get in, so they got to either get us to stop it or find a way to sneak in. So they look like us, walk like us, talk like us, so they got to find a way to sneak in. And they accomplish both under the chief demon Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds of NOI backwards. Because now he's found himself in control of NOI, so he draws them in. That's Peter. Jesus told you Peter was. He called him Satan. He said, get behind me. See? Because he was in front of him. Remember, Aaron was in front of Joshua. See, he was ahead of him. That's what it means in front of him. See, in time. But now when Joshua came, he said, get behind me. It's my time now. That's what that's talking about. That's why I said get behind. They don't just say stuff like that. He called him Satan because it's son of perdition. He said, on this rock I build my church. It says gates of hell will not prevail. You got to analyze that statement. Anything that doesn't prevail fails. If you got the gates of hell and the church, you got hell, and you got the gates in between hell and the church, and the gate doesn't prevail, that means it fails. That means all the demons of hell comes into the church. He got all the demons, he filled up with demons. That's what Peter would do. That's what Farrakhan has done. So now they could pretend and try to ease him that away. Try to fool Suleiman, you understand, to think that they could remember someone sowed the weeds amongst the wheat, the chaff amongst the wheat, to try to fool Suleiman, but said he wouldn't be able to do it. That's one way. So they would come in and try to deceive you, to fool you, to make you think they are somebody not trying to get in. Because once they get in, they just tear the place apart. And the other way is your enemy, because failing that, right? They need to get you to sell out your inheritance. Reparation, love master, stay on the plantation. You don't want to go. See? Because if they can get you to do that, because they use you as a hostage. See, a parasite needs somebody to suck their blood. Because they don't, they lose. So either way, right, they connect, they stand close to you. They can't ease in with you. That protects them if they ease it with you. Protect them from the wrath. Because they're getting the same chastisement as their daddy's going to get. Because that's where they are. Their daddy's seed. So they can't do that. Then they keep us over here. Then God won't, because God's not going to kill us. At least that's their mind. So that means if we stay with them, that means they protected too by our presence. They're trying to cover it both ways. Not to your benefit, for their benefit. Keep you over here. What Farrakhan said, we ain't going nowhere. We like it here. We'll stay here with Massa. That's what Legion said in Mark, right? First thing he told Jesus, hey, please don't make me need a country. That's why you're enemy. So he's trying to deceive you both ways. See? Either get you here to stay here, protect them, or ease into the hereafter and get rid of you. Take your place. Take your place. They want to take your place. The scriptures tell you that. They want to take your place. See? Isn't that what the story of Jacob and Esau? Jacob wanted to take Esau's place. Tried to deceive his father into taking Esau's place. Esau's place. Right? That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to take his place. Get rid of him and take his place. That's what demons want to do. That's why demon-possessed man. Right? They was possessed by demons. They was trying to take over. That's your enemy. Ultimately, the point is to get rid of you. Let's move on to the next one. And that's the chief demon right there. Listen to what he says. It follows the devil. He said it, but now he's trying to cover it up. He said this thing, it's out there. He gets an interview, and he says in the interview that his mother and father, his father's parents are Portuguese, Caucasian, possibly Jews. Think about that. Portuguese. He says it right there. We had an interview. Portuguese, Caucasian. That's what he says. Both. So if his father's mother and father both parents, how his father could be anything else but Portuguese Caucasian? But then he comes back and he thinks about it and says, oh no, my father's light skinned or Jamaican. Yeah, but his mother and father are Caucasian. Now how is that? See, he's a lie right there. Because he caught himself. See, he didn't reveal that while messenger was around, or MGT and FBI when he gave him a time of day if they knew his father was the devil. How in the hell is Dr. Yakub going to produce a Messiah for us? Does that make any sense? Then we should be giving praise, all praise be to Dr. Yakub, right? For giving us a Savior. Because he's from the line of Yakub, right? Anyway, let's move on. Adam and Eve, right? That's Britain and America, primarily America. I mean, Britain and America, they're together because remember, it was Britain that brought us over here. The British that brought us over here. And America, right, came out of that. That's Eve that came out of the side of Adam. But the British started. See? They're the ones that made war. They're the final iteration of Yakub. They're the one that made physical war on us for 40 years. They made physical war to try to eradicate us. They did it 40 years. They put us on the worst treatment ever. They can't even call it treatment. 40 years. See? As Gog and Magog, we submitted. They try to take us, wipe us out. See? Now it's time. God a consequence on the scene. See? Now they're in trouble. See? Because now they know what it's all about. They weren't able to eradicate us. So now remember, the demons have the same motivation they have. So now they got to get us to renounce our heritage, the covenant, by reparation. Why all of a sudden they put some? They didn't do that over a year ago. All of a sudden, through the virus come, they knew what this meant. Remember, they know the scripture. They don't know that you don't have to. You have to have the unsealed version to understand Exodus 16:19, 2019, right? 40 years enslavement, 220 be a plague. They know this. They understood this. They can't let you understand it. So they tell you, well, you drop them like flies, even though Black Africa is not being affected by it. They know what's going on. So all of a sudden, they're trying to get you to sell out. Reparations, we love you now. Always advertise on TV, interracial marriage and everything else. We great. See, they're trying to get out of it. And they know that they can't. The last option they got is just destroy you. Because if we're not around, then God will have, maybe God will choose them. I mean, nobody else around, so we got to use somebody. Or just kill, kill evidence. God's on the way, so he shows up. Hey, we ain't around. We dead. Wipes out. We no evidence. It tells you in Adam and Eve that they're going to attack us. They're going to attack the tree of knowledge of good, knowledge of evil. It's all blacks in America. They're going to, in Britain too. They're going to attack us. They wipe us out. They said they would try abortion first. That failing, throw you in the river. That's a 200 million man army that they're going to be up against with China and India in a few minutes. The ultimate is to wipe you out. Remember I said the vision, cyborg? They use you to protect, use you as Elijah Muhammad said, use as hostages. Because the Quran said, right, Allah will never destroy a country while the righteous are there. So that hold us here because they figure God will not destroy them as long as we still present. So he got to try to keep us here. That's what Farrakhan, we ain't going nowhere. You don't hear anybody talking about leaving here, do you? See, because we're their hostages. So that's why I got Farrakhan. Tell them stop talking about that covenant. Don't have to talk about that. Tell them we're going to stay here. That's why they keep you here. They ain't telling me, why don't we let you go? They hate you so much. Why won't they let you go? All this time, you talk about separation, and all of a sudden you're the racist. Why you want to separate? But they don't want us here. They hate us. But why don't want to keep us here? Because we're hostages. Like a guy, the police is out there, and they know they ready to break in. So he done grabbed this woman, right? And he's holding her. He don't care about it, but he's holding her because he figure if as long as he hold her, they won't shoot him. That's what it's all about. They hate you. And they working in collaboration with the demons. Farrakhan, they own Farrakhan. Don't be deceived by that. They're your enemies. And I'm giving you a reason why. Because if you survive, they die. It's a zero-sum game. One of us, that's why it says, who will survive the war of again? I'm taking first, who will win? Because if we win, they lose. They're gone, eradicated. Read Noah. All of them was drowned. If you understand AL-INJIL, you understand what that means. Either they're eradicated or we're eradicated. It's one or the other. It's not going to any in between. No gray area there. That's why they're your enemy. And they know it. They hope you don't know it. Remember a snare? Keep you playing basketball and in the belief matrix, wearing that cross around your neck, all that kind of stuff, until it's too late. A snare. Catch you napping. See? Next thing you know, you in a concentration camp going up in smoke, like they did in Germany in the 50s. You think it's not? They did it to the Japanese, didn't they? They did it to the Jews in Germany. These are Europeans doing this. They did it to the Japanese here. They was American citizens. And they love all of them, both of them, much more than they love you. They love Jews much more than they love you. They love Japanese much more than they love you. So if they do that to them, what the hell do you think they would do to you? I mean, they already done it. You got 400 years of history, and you still ain't convinced? I know you're convinced. The real true seed Abraham is convinced. They're just kind of confused right now because they keep confusing all this BS. The demons, right? They're not, because it was their followers that was doing it. That's what they want. Integration. See, we want to be with you, want to move into, we're with you, want to marry you and everything else. Because that's their people. It was Farrakhan's people that was doing that to us. His ancestors. It was followers of the devil. His ancestor was doing it to us. Brothers and sisters, that's basic mathematics. This ain't no conspiracy. That's basic mathematics. Anyone can understand that. Why are they your enemies? Because they're masquerading around as you. They don't want you to rise up because then they're finished. Because they'll be exposed for who they are. They'll be exposed for who they really are. And that means have nothing. Only reason why they have so-called false, because they gave it to them trying to stop the narrative that we're the true seed of Abraham. They'd have kind of counter narrative because they can't people realize that we're the true seed of Abraham, so they set them up. They only set them up when Elijah Muhammad came along and said we're the true seed of Abraham, because a couple of days earlier they was burning them up. The whole world was against them. And all of a sudden, bam, all the world was against them, and then all of a sudden their asses turned into honey pots, and everybody's eating honey overnight. Because Elijah Muhammad came and said we're the true seed of Abraham, which is true, was obvious. They had to have a count now, because they could, if we're the true seed of Abraham, who are they? That's why the only reason they were set up. The only reason. Or they would have nothing. Because we're true, that's their whole identity, their whole life, their whole lifestyle, their wealth and everything depends on them masquerading as us. They said, he who bless Israel, God will bless. He who curse Israel, God will curse. So everybody's trying to bless them because they think they blessing Israel. That's why they're getting all this wealth, all this help and everything else. That's the lie. So they are more, all these people are more than enemies. Remember, because if we rise up, the demons are toast, we rise up, right? God can make God, American Britain, they're toast. Plus, you got revenge on them for what they did. They don't want that. See? So they got all kinds of motivation to make sure you never rise up. In fact, you just eradicate it. Because once you eradicate, that solves all their problems in their mind. That solves demons' problems. That solves the devil's problems. That solves Satan's problems. You got demon, devils, and Satan is all called the Dajjal, the 3 Ds. That's why. They're your enemies. Oh, there go Ishmael, the dragon, 4 Ds now. Why all Ds? Demons, devils, dragon, Dajjal, the dragon. They're the dragon. It says they're really from the tribe of Hindu. But the British put them on a throne in Arabia, called Saudi Arabia, as a guarantee of cheap oil, and they would keep cabs on Islam or Judaism. See? But they're really, Angel says they're really Hindus that the British put on the throne. Because the British was controlling the whole region. They controlled India and everything. So they brought them in. Because remember, a lot of people in India was called Muslims, was saying they was Muslim, but they was Indians. You got a lot of Muslims, Sunnis in India. But they're Indian. They're not Arabs. That's what these are. The Hindus. They're not Arabs. Right? Okay. So they serve it too, because they represent the dragon, but they also represent the Arabs. See, because they have the same claim the Arabs have. The land. That's Arab claim, right? So they represent them, because remember, but they represent the Arabs. They're sitting on the throne, right? They control the Arabs. So you got two motivations there, right? But the same objective. So this, if we rise up, that land becomes ours. All that wealth and everything becomes ours, because it's ours. All that land and wealth and everything is ours. They ran us off that land 50,000 years ago. The Arabs did. See, they was our brothers. See? They ran us off. But there's also the Hindus. See, this gets kind of complicated between Arabs and Hindus. It gets a little complicated. See, because according to Angel, right, the Arabs are Hindus. See, our brothers, how can they? Okay, because if you understand what they're saying in the Angel, Abraham had 2 sons. His first son was from his maid. We have to be very careful with this one because I don't want to confuse anybody. See, that means she wasn't from the tribe of Shabazz. So only the other 2 tribes she could be from the tribe of Levites, Africa, or a tribe of Hindu, and that's what it was. So he's half and half. See, so they are brothers because they're still original. Levites are original, Hindus are original, they're all original. 3 tribes are original. See, so Arabs get a little complicated. So I haven't really gotten to that deeply. I'm not going to plan to. It's not necessary. So the bottom line is that because what happened when Prophet Muhammad came along, Hinduism had taken over Arabia. It was all that's what it was. Hinduism taking over. Tribe of Hindus had taken over the place. So they call them Arabs. They had taken it over, and he had to clean all that up. Anyway, the bottom line is, without going into a lot of detail, they want because the covenant went to them. I mean, went to us because God came, had dinner with Abraham and Sarah, dinner, right? Food, real food, not spooky food, real food. Sarah was barren. That's why Abraham had a son by his maid. They thought she was barren, she was elderly. And God said, "You're going to have a son." She said, are you out of your mind? She told me to a big brother, God, right? He said, "You're out of your mind, man." She laughed. That's what Sarah means. She laughed, right? Are you crazy? He said, "No, you're going to have a son." And she did. And that's the one God blessed. But he wasn't the oldest. That's us, Isaac. But Ishmael said the heritage should go to him, the land, everything should go to him because he's the oldest son. But he wasn't the son by Sarah's wife, by Abraham's wife, Sarah. And that's the controversy. So therefore, they kicked us out. They kicked us out of Arabia into what is called Africa now. And that pissed off the Levites, which led eventually to Yaqub, who produced his creation as a hammer to kick everybody else's ass for we being pushed in Africa because we was the chief tribe. And since we moved to Africa, then we kind of like moved into their territory, but we was more powerful, more dominant than them, right? So we, I mean, I can understand where they're coming from because like we kind of like we dominated Africa. That was their land. That was their land. But we was pushed out of our land into Africa, and we was the most powerful tribe at the time. So we dominated the Africans. See? So along come Dr. Yaqub, right? And so he produced another tribe that was going to hammer all other tribes. Not only us, he wanted revenge against us and also the Levites. And so there you have it. That's why you have the world you have today. Okay. So they're enemy. So now they want to do everything, because remember, the whole idea is to stop that covenant. So they come to that Sunnism because that covenant is not mentioned directly in the Quran. They want to get us off into Sunnism. See? It's out of that Bible. So we can reject, because in Sunnism, we're nothing. We just, see, because from the Arabs concerned, we're nothing. Africans, they ain't nothing. They don't care nothing about Africans. So we're nothing. So in the Quran, we're nothing. But in the Bible, we're everything. They know that we the true seed of Abraham. They know that. Why do you think they call, everybody knows it. What they call us over here, niggers, don't they? Don't they call us niggers? Ain't that what they call us? What they call Arabs? Do you know this? Desert niggers. Why do they call them desert niggers? You don't get it, bro and sis? Everybody knows. You see that previous one I said about the Russians talking about they're going to attack America and the Negroes could be quiet, Negroes over there quiet, or something to that effect. Why they mention Negroes? I told you all about us, brothers and sisters. They know who we are. They know as our brothers, that they betrayed us. That's what they call them desert niggers. Why they call them desert niggers? It's all out there, brothers and sisters, if you're just paying attention. But if you go listen to Lion Farrakhan, those lies and sauce and all that kind of stuff, their purpose is to confuse you, get you not to see, right? And that belief matrix, they close in on you. Snare. Now here we go again. Some more enemies. Why are they your enemies? This is very interesting. See there? There's the Hindus right there on the right. See? They started mental attacks 35,000 years ago. They wanted to be a chief tribe. So they want to separate us from the creation because we're the creators. With Buddhism, take it off the mathematical stand because that's our power. Our power is mathematics. Brother and sister, your power is mathematics. That's why they they took it away from you, and now they have you hating mathematics. That's your power. They have you hating mathematics. Why do you call it that movie? Hidden Figure. Why do they call it hidden? Those sisters, now they said brothers smarter than sisters, that's what they say, right? But these sisters with less education, and they the ones that was wise, smarter, they the ones that put them out in space. The white boys couldn't do it. And they hid it for years, hundreds, for decades. Ever since the 50s, they hid it. These sisters didn't have as much education as white, but they was the only ones able to do it. Put them out in space. And there was brothers behind that too, but they ain't gonna tell you the whole story. Keep it hidden. Because mathematics is your power. And Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. That's only Islam that's Islam. If it's not mathematics, it's not Islam. Forget about Sunni stuff. And that's what took you off of mathematics. And that's what Dr. Yaqub, master, make sure you don't get it. And make sure you hate. They've taught you to hate your power. You play basketball, kind of stuff. Hate your power. Because once you pick up mathematics, they're through. They know it. So they teach it to you all backwards and confusing. So make you hate it. And then you can't find a connection to it, so you can't find the relevance of it. I mean, what I need mathematics for? I'm gonna be out there working at Burger King. What I need mathematics to be out there, in prison or whatever. So you can't find a relevance for it. Relevance. See, so therefore you despise it. That's your power. Mathematics is your power. I'm trying to tell you that. See, tell you a little quick story, right quick. You probably can Google it, but it's a fact. When they came up with the computers, when they started computers, it's a new industry. They have a thing called SIC codes, Standard Industrial Codes, SIC, which is a code. If you work any place, you have a code. You don't know where it is, but the government has a code for it. If you're a truck driver, whatever, they have a code for it called Standard Industrial Codes. And when they come with a new industry, they sign a code to it. Then they got to do demographics. But you don't know what demographics means. The people, black, white, female, whatever. That's demographics. So they found what demographics is best for that industry because they want to be the best in it. So they found out, they did a study and found that blacks were the best, would be the best programmers. That's a fact. That surprised them. When they did a study, they found blacks would make the best programmers. And so that's why President Carter was at the time, he said this thing, right? Because I went through the program where Urban League administered it. IBM gave the classes and the equipment, right? And the community, the industrial community, they guaranteed they'd give jobs to the top 10% that went to that class. And they paid you. It was a 90-day class, and they paid you while you was going. So I made sure with a name like Raheem, I was first in that class, and I was. Because I knew they weren't going to hire me under any circumstances, but they had to. They still tried to stop it. IBM turned me down. They were supposed to. That was agreement. That was my first choice. They found all kinds of reasons. And AT&T, not AT&T, yeah, AT, was it AT&T? Yeah, AT&T at the time, they turned me down. They were supposed to, they didn't want it. But I found that Montgomery Ward took me. So he said that program. But when Reagan came along, he squashed, killed it. Because see, the whole idea is, with this new industry, that means the salary demands will be high because supply and demand. So the less they have, the more they have to pay you. And I'm good at it. I was excellent, right? So that means they pay all this money. That means you be living next door to them, sleeping with their daughters and stuff. They didn't want that. Reagan killed it. And that's the same time they started all these crazy movies. I'm Alive, #5, remember Indian movie, some of you probably remember, where this Indian guy turned a robot into life, made it alive and everything. They start giving you the idea that the Indians was powerful programmers. Because that's what started bringing them up. Because that time there wasn't an Indian in the country. You had very few Indians in the country. You couldn't find an Indian if you looked for it. You couldn't find one. But they decided to bring them in and get them to do the program because they didn't want you doing it. They scrapped that program fast and started this 3-strike law and that kind of stuff, put your ass in jail. That's a fact. That's what he did. See? So everybody think Indians are great programmers. Because that's what they put on TV. And you believe it's on TV. Just like you believe all Chinese are quiet. Bow, bow, boom, boom, crack your ass. And 99% of them don't know anything about any karate. But you see on TV, so hey, you don't get no argument with China, man, because you don't want to karate your ass. And most don't know anything about any karate because that's TV. But they got you believing that stuff. And so now you think, oh, Indians are great programmers. When you're the best programmers they are. The government already made that determination, but they don't want you because that means they got to pay all this money and everything, right? And that means now you got nice houses and everything. You said, and I don't know if some of you may know Pat Buchanan. Look at that guy, Pat Buchanan, when he ran for president about 30 years, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, right? They call him a race and everything because one of his platforms was he selected a black woman as his running mate. And they say, oh, he's a handsome somebody. They call him all kinds of names. He's a white guy. He was one of Reagan's boys, right? See? But he flipped, he flipped the script. So he says, hey, why don't we start? Because he revealed, he exposed them. He says, well, why you bring all these Indians in? They haven't had the H-1B to start H-1Bs and all that kind of stuff. They bring them in like by a boatload. When you can just give jobs to black people, then you can end the poverty thing in the city, all kind of stuff. Or they shut him down, man, you're racist and everything else. That was the end of him. You don't hear about him anymore. Well, you see, you have no idea what's going on. Anyway, see, that's your enemy. See, the Hindus, because they want to be the chief tribe. And they cannot be a chief tribe if you come back to mathematics. So they take all your technical jobs, keep you weak. You don't want to go to India, do you? The dark Indians, they got a caste system. The dark you are, the lower you on the caste. They don't play. You don't break that system, right? You don't see any black folks going over there. So they're your enemy. Because if you rise up, that means you're going to destroy their world. Remember, this religious world was started by them. Buddhism was the first enemy to Islam. It was started by them. This world you see right now, all this religious world, that's their making. And they control a lot of the world through that. They're controlling you through it. Because as long as you got that cross around your neck, they know they got you. They know you're never going to rise up. Because you walk around saying, I'm stupid, I'm ignorant, I don't know anything about any mathematics. Because it didn't take mathematics, it didn't reason logic that got you that cross around your neck. It was the absence of it. They call them Hades. Now death, this is a very interesting one here. All of them interesting. But death, that's Orientals. Now why are they your enemies? See? They recognize themselves. They say they're not even a product of evolution. They recognize that there's something different about them. That's why they calls them death and angel. Something different about them. What's different about them? I told a story about the Mongoloids. Because they're not included. See, there's the only tribe, they're a special tribe. There's no trace of them in the hereafter. No trace. You say, well, for I choose Japanese to pilot his ships, that's a whole different situation. I'm going to go into that one day, really detail about that. That's very interesting. Because it shows it in Israel, that's, he's there. That's where it was built at, and he chose them to pilot. Anyway, what's going on with these? Okay, a brief story. Dr. Yakub, right? He didn't live the whole process. It took 600 years. He left instruction. They kept grafting, or another word nowadays called genetic engineering, right? They get the recessive, increasingly recessive, until it got down to the point where you got as recessive as you could get. But how do they know when to stop? When they breached the barrier between humanity and animal. That means the chromosome structure was broken. It didn't get weak, it just broke. So in other words, for instance, if the chromosome structure was say you had five genes, and that 5 genes made up all humans had 5 genes. So you keep on, so go from black, then you get from black, then you get the brown, the yellow, but you still got 5 genes, so it's still human. Then you get down to white, you're still human. You got 5 genes, still human. But what happens if it breaks down to 4 genes? Or somehow it be 16? You're not human anymore. You might be black or whatever, but you ain't human anymore. Because that's the difference between us and apes. Their genetic structure is very close to ours, but it's different enough that it's not considered human. And that's what happened. They knew when the structure broke down, when it wasn't 5 anymore. I said 5 you had that 5 genes. It wasn't 5 anymore. It was something else. That means it was different. And that's the difference between the Mongoloid. You used to call them Mongoloids. Now they used to call them Mongoloids, and with retarded, now they call them mentally challenged. They all look alike. And what they look like? Look like Mongols. Look like Orientals. Because that's where they came from. See, they got that little extra structure. Mongoloid people don't have the same gene structure as normal humans have. They have something a little slightly different. That's why they don't have the intelligence, everything that humans have. They don't want to talk like that, but that's the fact. Because they have their gene structure unstable. Because it got to the point where when as far as it can go, then it became unstable. Then start producing them. So then once that happened, that's when they knew to stop. When a lot, not just one or two, but when a lot happened, it's okay, we can't go any further. So then they took those, they either kill them or, so they took them moving far north as possible, what we call the steppe, Mongolia, right? They couldn't teach them read and write, so they taught them picture language. That's what we teach children, because their mental levels are around 5, 6, 7 years old. They can't teach them manufacturing, they got to eat right, so they give them 2 sticks. They can't make forks and stuff, give them 2 sticks, right? They can't farm, so they give them the simplest farm possible. Rice, you stomp it. They can't hunt, so they can't, right? So they can't hunt for meat. So they give them domestic dogs. Dogs ain't gonna run away. They love dogs, don't they? Get the picture? See? And that's why they call them mongoloids. They knew what the deal is, because it was proof of what Dr. L.P. said. But then when Elijah Muhammad came along, they had to start changing stuff. They had to create false Israel. They had to change the name of Mongols. Couldn't call them Mongoloids anymore, because all the truth was right there in front of their face. Nobody knew it because Elijah Muhammad didn't come and open the door and explain it. But things are neutral, because we're going totally backwards, reverse. So that's the issue. The enemy, because that's why they say they're not even part of evolution, because they don't see it. When they trace their gene structure, it doesn't follow the evolutionary path that they claim that exists, which really doesn't. See, so they have unstable gene structure, which we don't want, because if we allow that to stay in our gene pool, eventually everybody will be in that condition. So they have an unstable genealogy, so therefore that's why they're not found in the Ark, in the Lamb Book's life. You don't find them. When you look at the Ark and the Angel, I'll show you, you don't find any of them in there at all, because they have that unstable gene structure. See, and that's why they're primary enemy. That's why I call them death, because they be death to the human race. See how fast they populate. That's what I call it. I mean, we ain't knocking them, that's just the way it is. That's why they call them death. That's why they're our enemy. They're everybody's enemy. That's why they're going to attack everybody. They're everybody's enemy. That's what we call them death. See? Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Angel breaks all this out. You know you didn't know this before. And they say, oh, that's hate speech, all that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you, this scientific, nothing conspiratorial about this. That's common. You can look at that and see that. They was moved far north as possible. Right? They made hay to make to live in, hay houses, new huts. Basic. How did IQ get rid? Because when the Europeans was thrown into for 2,000 years up into the caves, right? They was up there next to them, and they was raiding and raping their women and everything else while they was in the caves. They had a conflict between the two. That's raised their IQ. So anyway, and then other people start messing around. Anyway, that's how the IQ got raised. So that was your 2 enemies. I tell you, everybody's your enemy, brothers and sisters. This one will destroy the whole human race. That's why I call him death. Hades, right, is going to destroy the mentality, is destroying the mentality of the whole planet, because take you off the mathematical standard. To separate the creative from the creation. See? 2 mortal enemies. All of them mortal enemies. And then you got the Levites, Africa. How are they enemy? Because they think right? First of all, they remember this is directly from this is Yaqub himself. Remember, Yaqub's that tribe he created, that was a tribe he created from himself. But this is the Levite, this is his tribe itself. And if you read the first chapter in Revelations called Angel, that person there, that's Obama. But he's the incarnation of Yaqub. So Angel tells us he's a direct descendant of Yaqub. He's the incarnation. He's like Yaqub being reborn again. If you believe in reincarnation, I'm the first and last. I'm the first and first ruler and last ruler of my people. He will be the last ruler. Because remember, he's going to be part of that invasion force when they come take America out. That's why I say I'm the first and the last. That's not Jesus there. It says he's like the Son of Man. That means he's not. Anything is like is not. Then people say that's Jesus. That's not Jesus. It says he's like the Son of Man. Read it carefully. They just jump to, oh, it's Jesus. Even Farrakhan saying that nonsense. Elijah Muhammad didn't say that though. At least I don't think he said that. I'd say there's something different. But maybe you heard something else other than that. Well, anyway. So that's what it is. And that's because Satan and Lucifer is not the same. Lucifer, that's who Obama is. Says he said he'll be like the Most High. See, they saw Satan fall from heaven, right? Like a what we said, like a lightning. But Lucifer, he said, I'll make my throne, right, in the far north. That's America. I'll be like the Most High, because he was in a confrontation with Lucifer. I mean, with Michael, Farad. He'd be like Farad, and he thought he should be the God, because both were archangels, and he has similarities. Both of them have original fathers, but Caucasian mothers. Farrakhan called him Messiah. That's Lucifer. Why is the enemy? Because they feel they should inherit all that should be theirs. They feel the tribe of Shabazz is kaput. Remember, they the ones that made the devils to be a hammer. Remember, because that came from Dr. Yaqub. Dr. Yaqub from the tribe of Levites. See, Dr. Buddha was the head of the tribe of Hindus. Dr. Shabazz, tribe of Shabazz. Yaqub in this time was the leader of the tribe of Levites. And that's why he made his creation to take over, to get the hammer, all the rest, and to take over, to become the chief tribe. And that's why in the end, that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to wipe us out so they can be the God. He don't want to be Suleiman, he wants to be the God. That's why you see him in the angel, right? Sometimes he's sitting where Farad sat, and sometimes Farad sits where he sits. He wants to be the one. Sometimes he's on top, sometimes Farad's on top. He's one chapter 10, stepping down. He wants you gone. Obama wanted you gone. He never did anything for you. What did Obama do for you? Not a damn thing. He used you. The angel tells you, actually, he's the one that gave Hillary was supposed to be president. It says he's the one that gave Eve the right to wipe you out. He said, no, it's all right, you eat that tree. When you eat something, you consume it, take out existence. And we was a tree. The tree of good was nature of Islam, the tree of evil was the demons of Christian blacks. He says, no, you eating them. And you love him, but they said you would love him, especially demons, they would love him. Chapter 17. He's the one that says he's the eighth but of the seven. I'm not going to the math of that. I've done it before. That's not the place to do it here. I'm just telling you who your enemies are. I've told you who they are, and I'm telling you why they're your enemies. What their objective is, what their agenda is. Right? All these people are against you. They know who you are. They want to get rid of you. That in their mind, that solves their problems. Because we're the chief tribe, and they do not want us to set back up and rule again. especially since all they did to us. Betray us, trick us, abuse us, rip us off, everything they done to us. And now with the God of consequence, see, they know about karma, know about consequence. The God of consequence is about to sit on the throne. Now they got to pay for what they did. It says every atom will pay. You pay for everything. See, we talking about the Quran tells you it's consequence. Everybody will pay for what they did, and they don't want that. See, because we sit on the throne, that means justice and consequences right behind it, and they know what they did. And they're the Lord. That's the God. Farad. It's Michael. That's David. Why it said called Daniel the son of God, because that would be Solomon. He's David. That's where Suleiman, son of man, comes from. Suleiman. Dear Lord, we're in it. Talk about specifically one day, 1 year. And specifically, in general, it starts at the time the plague starts. But there's a specific year they're talking about. It says none like it. It says once it starts, you're going to see things you never thought you'd see before. It says nothing like it. It tells you about it. It says nothing like it. It says never ever will be a day like that again. So much destruction and stuff. It says that men's hearts be failing for fear of those things. See, coming. In other words, it's going to be so bad that just see it approach and people are going to have heart attacks. Just see it approach. So which thing they're going to do once it hits? It says, day of their wrath. Read the sixth seal. The day of their wrath. That's Suleiman and Farad. Suleiman and David. The day of their wrath has come. Who will be able to stand? Brothers and sisters, you're going to be able to stand. Because I've already said, you're guiltless. I'm the judge. You're guiltless. If you're behind the angel and you study the angel, you're guiltless. And our people that haven't yet got to the angel, they're guiltless until they taste the water. Once they taste the water, they go back towards it, then they mark their guilt is on their own shoulder. So we ain't against our brothers and sisters out there that haven't tasted. These come in, taste a little bit, and they start their BS. They're demons. Bye. We told them. They tasted, right? They resisted, attacked, or whatever they do. Bye. They know no second chances. Those brothers and sisters have not tasted yet. We ain't mad at you. We're not mad at you. And those you brothers and sisters out there taking water to them, you'll be rewarded. Like I said, the more you do, the greater your reward will be. Okay? So if you do little, you'll be rewarded little. But even a little is going to be a lot. A little will be a little mansion. See? Because you're going back and you're going to be in heaven. But those who do a lot, they'll get a lot. Consequence, everything has absolute reaction. So you're taking water, those brothers and sisters, you're doing that. And you sisters out there, don't you worry about that. If you're doing it, that's good. But you take care of your family, that's working. Take care of your family, take care of your children, you're doing is all you need to do. If you want to do more, fine. You'll be rewarded. So don't think because you ain't out there talking to these brothers and sisters, there's something. No, you take care of your family, take care of your children, you're doing everything you need to do. And it's appreciated. We love you for it. Because we would not be here if it wasn't for you. We owe you. We owe you more than we owe ourselves. Because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. And we're supposed to protect you, we didn't. We don't get angry, don't get mad at us. Because we need you to, we knew we was gonna go through this, and you agreed to go through with us. And we appreciate it and we love you for it. But these niggas out here condemning you and talking about you and bad mouth and everything, we're gonna deal with them. See? Because they don't understand what's going on. Now, some of them, they're out there in ignorance, we'll take that into consideration. See? But we owe you a debt. Because you shouldn't have to go through what we went through. But that had to be for us to survive altogether. So we owe you debt. We're going to we're going to pay our debt to you. So don't you worry about it. If you want to go out there and carry water, brothers and sisters, fine. That just add a little more to you. But you take care of your family, take care of children. Every time you produce a little God, bring a little God in the world for us, right? That's that's more than enough. And we recognize that. And these brothers that don't recognize, they will recognize it soon. See? Freedom, justice, and equality, Islam for all of us. See? Ain't gonna be no BS in here after somebody take advantage of you and we better than you and you 1 degree above us and below us and all that kind of crap. That's Sunnism stuff. I know it's in the Quran, but you gotta understand what that means. It doesn't mean what it seems like it means. Okay, brother and sisters, that's your God right there. Technical wizard, technical genius. Then you got Suleiman, spatial. He's high priest. Okay, brothers and sisters. See what's next here. That's it. Well, we talked about this. I'm not going to go into it except to say you don't understand what six. They tell you now. I tell you, well, 666 is they come with this passport, virus passport, and that's it. No, 666 simply means I'm not going to go into all the details, right? But the only that you got one in general, without being detailed, you got a country that's putting sanctions everybody that doesn't worship the beast that was image of the beast that was wounded by the sword, which is false Israel. Anybody that goes against them, they put sanctions on them. Anybody that loves false Israel, they got the mark. That's in general. That's what that's all about. It's not a mark of 666. It's more of a belief system. If you're in the belief matrix, you got the mark. See? So the only ones they able to buy and sell. So in other words, if you don't, then you a sanction. You can't buy and sell. Who's doing all of this? That's America. So I tell you who it is. You can't buy or sell anything unless you do what they want you to do, and especially if you go against false Israel. That's pretty simple. I'm making it very simple for you. And who is that? That's Iran and Syria. They ain't not able to buy or sell because they're against false Israel. See? So that's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Said all its purposes was to just get you to understand not just who your enemies are, but why they are. Why the enemies? So you understand what this battle is all about. So if you hugging and kissing on them like Farrakhan's doing, I tell you, he don't know who his enemies are. Or maybe he does know who our enemies are, but they're not his enemies because he's a demon. So if he's hugging and kissing on devils, that means because he's one of them. Because this follows the devil. See? He wants to bring devils in NOI. That should tell you everything. You should have broke this exit doors down right there on that one. He said he wants to bring devils in NOI. He wants to save the world. He wants to save America. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. He's son of perdition, enemy. He's a demon. Half devil, half man. So now you know who your enemies are. That covered everybody in the world, every nation, as far as unless I miss someone. The whole world is against you, brothers and sisters. The entire world is against you. They know who you are. They're trying to make sure you don't know who you are. Because once you come back to the mathematical standard, once you come back to mathematical thinking, they're through. Because think, all their actions against you is based on mathematics. This virus, right, economics, they're using math against you. But if you're playing chess and you smart, you better chess player than others, but you're going to beat them. So they beat you with math. But if you start thinking mathematics, you're going to beat them because you're better mathematical thinking than they are, but you don't know it. They got you pissing on math. That's why they don't want you to know math. It's like, say you had a bunch of women and they had control over some men. And women going to the gym and all that kind of stuff, right? They don't want the men to go to the gym. Because they go to the gym, they know in a few minutes they'll be stronger than the women. So the women going, they're getting strong, and they keep the men weak. And they keep the men thinking that, hey, man, you just need to stay home and take care of the baby and stuff. So they make the man think that, hey, they're the weaker ones. And then make sure they stay away, start away from that gym. Because only one of them get to that gym, he knocks all the rest of them out. That's what's going on. Get you away from mathematics, because once you get mathematics, they know you are better and more powerful than them. Your mind is more powerful, your brain is more powerful. That's what it tells you in the lessons. It said, you got 7 ounces, they got 6.5 ounces. So I'm saying it correct. That's what they know. Once you go to that mathematical standard, see, because you got to study. Well, they got to study. You go to the gym. The women's at the gym, I mean, they got to work. If they go in the gym, they keep you out, but they still got to work. If they want to stay ruling you, they got to go and put the work in. Because if they stop doing it, right, then they're going to be weaker as the men. Then the men will definitely overtake them then. But as long as they keep going to the gym, they're stronger, and they can keep beating the men down. They're taking karate and all that other stuff, keep the men from doing it. So they got to put the work in. But once you start learning mathematics, you're going to be more powerful than them because they're using mathematics against you. Everything I use against you is mathematics. They're using mathematics against you, but you got the superior power. You more able to deal with math than them. Just like a male is naturally stronger than a female. But they can become weaker than a female if they don't do anything with it. If they deny exercise and everything else, they'd be weaker than a female if the weak female is going to the gym. So if they go into school and learning math, and they keep you out of playing basketball and watching NBA and smoking your blunts and all that kind of stuff, right? Eating your chillings, then they're gonna be smarter than you, more powerful than you, because it's all comes from thought. Everything you see, our reality all comes from thought. That's why you see religions don't produce a damn thing because it don't take thought to come religion. Just believe in something. They're using mathematics against you. But they know you are the mathematician, so they have to keep you away from it. Once you get it, you put the work in, they're through. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.